Hi, I'm Peter. This is the Peter on Health channel. And this video is called What Caused My Political Shift? This is sort of part two of from the last video I did about call it as a political vertigo. Um, the answer to that question in one word is Covidland. Um, in the last video, I mentioned, I supported Bernie in the 2020 Democratic primary, and the centrists stole it from him, and that caused a small shift. But as we all know, in April 2020, the world was locked down, and that lasted for 2 full years until about April this year. And we were locked into our house, and we don't have to repeat it, but we had masks everywhere, and there was an effort to vaccinated everybody. I don't call it a vaccine; I call it gene therapy, which is what it is. Of course, if they called it that, we wouldn't have the adoption of it. Um, and I guess right from April 2020, when we had the lockdown, I asked myself a simple question: what if the powers that be, the politicians, the corporations, the people who rule over us, what if they're lying? What if and then if they're lying, what's behind lying? Well, usually it's lust for power, lust for money, lust for fame, things like that. And so money's a simple one. Like, is there money behind all these things? And that was, once you ask yourself the question, these are easy things to find. Like a sixth grader could find it. But once you ask yourself that question, and I learned later that the only reason I asked myself that question, or the reason probably that distinguishes me from all of my super educated friends, is that I grew up blue collar. I grew up in a factory town. My parents were, blue collar, and that was my, you know, my raising. And you have this suspicion for, against the man, and the, yeah, whatever. And so I think that's why I asked myself that question. And once you ask it, that question, then you go down a rat hole, whatever. And I discovered some people I never heard about. I mean, Alex Barrison was the first person. I subscribed on Substack, but then I don't know. He had some months ago. There was an interview with Alex and this guy Robert Malone, and there was an interviewer, and Malone and Alex should have been on the same side. And the interview asked a question, and Malone answered it. And then he asked Alex's opinion, and instead of answering the question, he just personally attacked Malone. So I unsubscribed from Alex, and I subscribed to Malone and Pierre Corey. And basically, over 2 years, I've been reading, and participating in the comments of these, quote, heretics. And you won't be surprised for me to tell you who is the commenters. The Trump right wing is one dominant force, religious people. And it was weird, like I'm quote unquote anti lockdown, anti masking, anti gene therapy. And these Substack pages are filled with people on the same side. Now they're coming from religion and other hate of the Democrats and whatever. But I don't know. I guess I had a little bit of empathy or something, with these people that before that I would never, listen to these kind of people. So I think that was the biggest push of my, political interests.